Ya YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Foundry Virtual Tabletop from the ground up, Players Edition. So in the last episode, we kind of talked about how to get into the game, go into your browser and connect and log in, and I think we also talked about the modules, which I have disabled just so we can see what a default game would look like. I wanted to take out all the modules and stuff like that. So those are now gone. We're going to kind of go over the interface. We're just going to talk about all the components here. We're not going to go into great detail as of yet, but we're going to go over kind of a real cursory and introductory thing of all the different components on the page. So the first thing, when you load it up, you'll basically be greeted with this. I believe you also are greeted with a little window that says, choose your thing. You can choose your color. You can choose the player that you're going to be, what your character, and a couple other things. If you ever want to change any of that information, you can always right click on your player name down here, click on user configuration, and this should be the window that you see. So if you have player avatar, you can go in here. Actually, I think the DM has to do that, or the GM has to do that, but you can change your color. You can release any characters you have. If you release it, then you can select a character to choose, hit save configuration, and you can see here that Accra is reserved for Derby Fam. The other thing you can do, this little up arrow is telling you that there's more information, and basically what it's doing is any players, all the players that have been configured as players will show up in this list. The little black dot means they're currently not logged in. So there's that. If we go up to the top here, this anvil, some modules will actually make that so you can click on it, but you can't do anything. Right now we can't click on anything really because we don't have a scene up. But under here is basically your play game options when you're actually playing. Down this one is kind of your templates for your radius on circles or cones or lines or squares, whatever it might be. And then this one right here is bookmarks. Once I think in the next episode we'll actually kind of play with these things and go into more details, because it's actually going to pop out a little side menu with a couple of things in there, and you'll be able to do that. The next thing you can do is down here we have our Hotbar, and here you can have macros, you can have scripts. If you've watched my admin video, we're going to go over a lot of the same stuff that we did in that, but I'm doing this kind of imagining or pretending like the person is only watching the player versions of these videos, because they really don't care about the administrative side or the game master side. So anyway, down here we have our little bar. Now most of these type of windows, you can actually click on the little thing to hide them. You can do the same with the hotbar down here. And then as you can see, we have 10 buttons here. If we click the up arrow, we can go to page 2 of them. We can do up to 5 pages. So you can see we get to 5, and then it resets back to 1. So if you want, for example, all your role-playing type chats or scripts in here on 1, and then maybe 2 is combat. Seems kind of counter the way I would expect, doing that would go to 2, 3, 4, and then 5. It's kind of backwards. That's just me though. So anyway, in these you can actually create macro. Well, yeah, they're macros no matter what. It's either a script macro or a script. So if we come in here and click on this, it'll turn into a little dice. We can choose what we want the icon to be. I'm pretty sure we can. Edit macro. I could have swore we just double click this and it does it. Is that GM only? That doesn't make sense if that's GM only. So we can give it a name. We'll just call this, actually let's say hey there. Wow, that is a really bad spelling there. And might as well make this uppercase. So, you know, anytime new players join, we can have it be a chat, and we could say, welcome to the game. As a player, I can do that. And then I can save it, and then anytime I click this, you can see Derby Fam says, welcome to the game. We can also create macros that are actual script macros. If you know JavaScript, you can actually create macros that interact with tokens that are selected, targets, and all that fun stuff. That's kind of outside the scope of this immediate tutorial, but maybe it's something we could do later on. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So anytime you create these macros, it puts them in this little folder, which is your macro directory. Now, we can come in here, like if we don't want this macro here anymore because it really didn't work, we can actually right click on it and say remove macro, and you'll see it's no longer here. However, it is still here. If we click on this, you can see there is our script macro, right? So if we want to get rid of it permanently, if we're here, we can actually click delete macro, and that will actually delete it from here and from here. So, or we could do the same thing here. We can right click on it and say I want to export it, import it. Actually, I thought you could do that. I guess you can't. This is the only place I guess you can delete it, which is kind of weird. I could have swore it had delete option in there too. So if we want to delete it permanently, we just come here and delete it. And now if we go in there, you'll see we only have the hey there. We want to get rid of that, and boom, all gone. So you can have these macros for hotkeys. From your character, you can actually drag things. Actually, this Derby Fam does have a character. So if we go to actor here, click on the actor, and open it up. Let's say we want to make a hotkey. And by the way, I've mentioned this before, but the reason everything's so compressed is because I'm recording this in a window that is actually close to 720 or 1280 by 720. That way, if you make it big on your screen, you can actually see the text and stuff. If I record at a higher resolution, then it gets really hard to see that text. So anyway, if we come in here, let's say our inventory, and we want to put a mace in here, we can put our mace in there. We put our crossbow in there. If we have a spell that we always use, Sacred Flame maybe, we can drag that there. And these are kind of automatic macros for you. If we go to edit macro, you can actually see it's a script macro, and this is what it's doing. This is the folder or the internal structure where things are, and it tells you what it is there. So now if I go here and I want to do Sacred Flame, I just click it and it says what it is, gives the description. Then if I want to do the saving throw against someone, you know, they're selected or whatever, I click on that. I don't have anyone on the screen, so obviously it's not going to work. Damage, same thing. We can go ahead and say it's a critical hit. We can say it's a normal hit. Maybe the GM says I want you to do it private so you don't see what it is. So you do blind GM roll here, and when we do our normal hit, we don't get to see what we rolled. We don't get to see the damage. But if we go look on the GM screen, you can see we rolled 1d8 and we rolled a 6 on it to get that damage. So kind of cool little options there. This color screen is telling you that it's a blind roll. Go and clear everything back out and go back in. So anyway, yep, you can do that also with your crossbow, mace, whatever you want. So that's the hotbar or macro bar. Let's go ahead and clear everything out once again. Next, we're going to talk about this area over here. Obviously, we've seen this. This is your chat window. Chat with me. Which just simply says what people say. This little ring around it kind of gives you an idea of who's saying it. So we can see here that the blue color, or turquoise, teal, whatever you want to call it, is Derby Fam, although you can also see it right here. So if you can't read, I guess that helps. And then, of course, the GM is kind of this magenta color and says, no, I don't want to. And you'll see it has that magenta ring around it. So it gives you a quick visual of who is doing the chatting. All right, and then of course we can set what type of role it is. There's a public role, a private GM role, a blind GM role, and a self role. If you only want it for yourself, then it doesn't. I don't have another person connected, so I don't know this is going to work. But if we say 2d20 plus 5. Oh, I forgot the roll. /R. Is this roll or is this? Yes, it is. So basically, this would show only for you. Of course, GMs can't see that one because it's your own private role. And other players will get that same thing. This is question marks. So they'll know you've rolled something. They just won't know what you rolled, which can be really fun for a GM to do, you know, make players kind of squirm that they see these rolls all the time. Let's see. So the next thing over is our combat tracker. Right now there is no active encounter, so we don't see anything in there. But when there is an active encounter, we'll actually see all the players. We'll see the turn order. We'll see where we are. And sometimes there will be other information that the GM can actually allow or disallow. The next one over is our actors. We kind of already talked about that one. This is where characters are. Now, I will point out that there might be other characters. So if your GM is telling you, you know, go into the actors and go grab, you know, Off or Merrick or, you know, some, we have these other ones in here. If they don't give permission, so if you don't see them, it might be because they haven't given you permission. So here we can see they don't have permission to those other ones. I just wanted to show you what it would look like with different types of permissions. So here we have, oops, I did the wrong thing. We have auth. We're going to go ahead and do configure permissions. We're going to make it so Derby Fam has limited access to that one. And then Merrick here, we'll go ahead and give Derby Fam, we've already done owner, so we'll do limit observer, I mean. And the last one here, we'll go ahead and set it to, well, the default is none. So I guess that really doesn't matter. We don't need that last one. So now if we come into the other screen, now we'll see that they do have view of those other two. Now this one that they have only, was this limited? You can see that it's very limited where they get all this information with their own. With this one, they only get this very limited information. And with the one that said that it's observer only, they can come in here and they can look, but they can't touch. So if they come into, say, inventory, they can't actually, you know, modify anything at all. Whereas if they have more permissions, you know, the owner, they can actually come in here and say edit Sacred Flame and stuff like that. So if the big thing I want to point out is if you have a character, and if we come in here now, we should be able to, I think, see Merrick, maybe Aoth or whatever his name is. No, because that has to be owner. Okay, that's what I want to verify. But anyway, so if you do see your character in here, you haven't been able to select them here, you come in here and you see something like this. This is because you only have limited permission, which is basically to see the kind of description, which is, and then if you're able to do this, but nothing seems to actually do anything, then it's because you have read-only basically permission. Oh man, my throat is dry. All right, moving on. So the next thing we have here is the items. So right now there are no items. This could be like potions of healing and things like that. I really probably should have set some things in here, just so you can see what it looks like. So, and this might be a good thing. So let's just do maybe a potion of healing. And we'll go to the items, potion. Maybe I should did. Oh, there we go. Potion of healing. So we can drag that in here like so. We only need one. Once again, you'll be able to have those different permissions again on all these different things. Configure permissions where they can see it, they can not see it. So if we wanted to give them, I think we want to just give them maybe observer. Trying to remember real quick. So if we come in here, oh, did I save it? I don't know if I saved it. Configure permissions, yeah, none. So if we want to give everyone, I feel like it's observer because we don't want them to change it. Now they can see the potion of healing. They can get the information on it. I think if they drag it to their character sheet, I'm trying to remember this part. I wasn't even thinking about this really. So if we drag it from here to their character sheet, you can see it added it here. And I believe, yeah, now they can actually use it. So right now it's going to consume it when you use it, which means it goes away. And you can see it went away. If we do not consume it when we use it, then it actually will stay in our inventory. And you can see here that it's showing, oh, this is a healing potion. Then you can go ahead and do a heal. So roll normal, there you go. Roll the 6, not too bad. Roll normal, an 8, even better. So anyway, that is basically the items tab. The next one over is the journal. Now I have actually set this up where we actually have, if we look, once again, with permissions, I guess I don't need to talk about permissions because that's not a player's thing, but there are actually more than one player's notes in this player's notes directory. But Derby Fam has only been given access to her own notes and has been given ownership to those notes. So this means she's able to come in here, and as the story progresses, no one else sees these notes but her. And if she wants to come in and says, we met a SGRA in strange merchant named Bob. So we could have something, you know, like that. We can do fancy formatting, do pictures, we can save it. And then she has these notes that are available to her throughout the game. You can also put pictures in here. You can see we have a picture there. It only allows you to do one picture. It'd be kind of cool if it allowed you to do other pictures because you might have multiple pictures throughout the game. But this only allows you to have one picture, so you just pick your favorite picture, I guess. However, you can also put pictures into here. So if we said, let's change a merchant named Mary, since the picture is going to be a girl, then we can come in here to a picture. If we know where the source is, we can actually type it in. I don't know that I want to do this right now. We can, I can't remember if it's relative or not. We're going to go more into this later on. That's why that's kind of outside our scope of what we're doing right now. So you can actually add images and stuff right into this area. But it's going to be just a little more work. So we'll go ahead and call that good for that area. The next one is the roll tables. Now, this is if, let's say you're a wild magic sorcerer. We'll pretend that this roll table is a wild magic sorcery instead of a roll table for the seasons. So we can say that you are, I know if you're owner, you can edit it. I kind of feel like you don't want limited. That just shows you a description. I think you want observer, and then maybe you could still do it. Let's double check. No, we can't at all. And then I think if we limited in this case, sometimes I find new things as we're going. So if we try limited, it has certain, so we can't actually view it as that. So I guess you'd have to be owner. There should be one more category, if you ask me, where you can actually roll and stuff on it, but you can't change it. So if we'll go ahead and try owner, because obviously nothing else is working. So now if we do that and we click on it, we now should be able to, oh, we roll down here. So wait, maybe limited did work. Oh, sorry. Was it limited or no, it was observer. Maybe that's exactly what I wanted. So if we go in here, yes, we can still roll. Okay, perfect. So here you can see we can roll on it, but we can't edit it. That's exactly what I was hoping observer was, but it didn't seem to be because I'm used to clicking on those little dice. So here you can see winter and spring is what we rolled. Moving on, we have our audio controls. So your GM might have music playing in the background and stuff like that. They might have a playlist going, and you actually have control over the volume that you hear yourself. And of course, the interface is the dice rolling and stuff like that that we just heard. So you can control that. GM has more options in here for a soundboard. I thought they can also give you rights to a soundboard. Create a playlist. Let's call it new playlist. Okay, it won't let it be called new playlist. That's not actually words. So we'll call it test. And then we'll call this a soundboard. And I don't know that we have to have anything in it, but if we right click on you, maybe that was a feature they were saying they were adding. But it'd be kind of cool if you had your own soundboard. But apparently, no, you don't. Not here. And then the next one is the compendiums. These are SRD compendiums. And you're able to, get your class information, stuff like that. For the most part, you'll have everything, but when you level up, you might need new spells. So you can simply take this, and if you pull up your character at the same time, it's going to be a little crunched. But then you can just simply drag, if we go to spellbook, you can simply drag this from there to there. So if we wanted blindness, deafness, and let's go find out where I put it. I can't see it. It's probably down here. Yes, it is. It's the second level one. So I can't scroll that low because I have my windows scrunched. Can we grab you at all? No. There is a module that's very nice for small screens that will actually bring the bottom of the screen always up so that it never goes below the screen. Kind of handy. I wonder, actually, maybe I could hide the bar here. There we go. There's blindness, deafness. We'll go ahead and just delete it. There we go. So anyway, that is kind of the compendiums. You also have items in there. So if you're finding items, you can click on those and, maybe they say you got an antitoxin. You can grab that armor of invisibility, vulnerability, and of course you can click on them, see what they are and stuff like that. And then of course there's the monsters and all that other stuff. So the final little area, and we're at 25 minutes, so I think we're good enough, is your configure settings. All these gears or cogs are your settings. So core settings is the actual core game or Foundry application type of settings. And you can go through these and look what all of them do, like frame rate, that's kind of obvious. The next one over is your system settings. This is for the system that you're running. In this case, it's D&D 5th edition. Doesn't look like there's any real settings for you other than collapse item cards in chat, which item cards are those huge things, and you just be able to have them be collapsed. And then module settings. For any settings that your GM has enabled, you'll be able to control their settings right here. Next one down is a view active modules. So here you'll get a list of any active modules. You don't, as a player, you don't get to see just all the modules that are available. You only get to see the modules that are active. Then this is a really good one right here, the control reference. This actually tells you all the kind of shortcut keys that the game has. So this is always available to you to quickly look and, oh yeah, I can, do hotbar slots with 1 through 0, and I can highlight canvas objects with Alt and cycle tokens and all that fun stuff. Then view documentation. This will open up in an in-game window, but takes you basically to the Foundry knowledge base. And then the community wiki page, same type of thing. And then logout will just take you completely out. So I think this pretty much covers what I wanted to cover in this episode. We did kind of look into some extra things that I wasn't thinking that we were going to necessarily, but we'll definitely go into all that in more detail, and I'll have more information and knowledge on those things when we do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels. And don't forget to tell other people about my channel. Have them check it out. If they like what they see, they can sub and we can just grow the channel. And that's it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.